Hi YouTube, it's Melissa or Melly's VSG 2012 coming to you on for my 1 week post-op for my VSG. I know I'm a day late, but I swear that last night I was on YouTube for about 2 to 3 hours just trying to upload my videos, and it wouldn't take, so I just decided to erase them and start over. I just got back from the gym, so I know I look like a hot mess, but I'm trying to get my workouts in. So let's just start off with the numbers. On October 31st, the day of my surgery, I weighed 374 pounds. As of yesterday, my weight is down to 358 pounds. So that's like a total loss of 16 pounds, I think. I'm ecstatic. I'm extremely happy with those results. Even though it's been really, really difficult, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna pretend that it was a walk in the park, because it was far from it. It seems like no one tells you how difficult the journey and the process is, not just physically but mentally. It's so much, and I actually think it's more mental than physical. So I wanted to come on here and just give you a play-by-play of like what happened at the hospital and everything, because I know I didn't make really a video at the hospital to kind of document everything that went on. It's just that with all the medications that I was on, I was just so out of it. And the little video that I made that was like a minute long, I mean, it took all my strength, and I don't even remember uploading it, you guys. I remember talking, and I kept telling myself, okay, let me upload it, but I was just like so in and out with all that medication that those first 3 or 4 days after surgery is so foggy to me. They're so foggy. So be prepared for that if you're gonna have surgery, soon. First of all, make sure you do a lot of research on the hospital you're going to. I wasn't too pleased with the hospital I went to. Now, I don't know if I just had a bad nurse or two, or if that's just the way that hospital runs, but I had a terrible experience personally. Well, I guess I'll start from the beginning. I got there on October 31st in the morning. I checked in. It took about 15 minutes. It was pretty quick to get me back to, I guess, the pre-op area. They had me do a urine sample. Then they had me go behind a curtain and undress and put the gown on. I put the gown on. They told me to put the socks on and to hop into bed. So I hopped into the bed, and they brought me warm blankets and an extra pillow and made me really, really comfortable. Everybody back there was super nice. They didn't hesitate to explain everything that they were doing to me, what they were doing to me, what it was for. They started the IV, which the IV they originally started was, I'm guessing it was right there. I don't know. It was up here somewhere. And I'll tell you the issues that I had with my IV. But from when the operation started, everything was good here. After that, they, had me set up my IV. The anesthesiologist came over and spoke with me. He was really, really nice, pleasant guy. Told me he's going to take good care of me. I told him that, I was, really nervous about the anesthesia. I never had surgery, and he had asked me had ever been under, and I said, well, I had my wisdom teeth pulled out, and I did the endoscopy or whatever it's called, and he's like, well, everything went fine there. I don't expect anything to go wrong. He even had me open up really wide my mouth so he could check out my tonsils and everything. He said it looked like we had a clear passage and everything, so that was great. Finally, my mom was allowed to go back, because she wasn't initially allowed to go back. Probably about 30-40 minutes after being back there, they brought her in, and we chatted a little bit. My surgeon got there, and he was, being funny and, really, really nice, and made me feel at ease. Finally had to say bye to my mom, and they rolled me back into the operation room. And I still remember the operation room. I wasn't out of it then. I don't know if they even had anything to make me drowsy then. I know that they had me hop over to the operating table. They kind of pushed the other bed next to it and just kind of let me push myself forward or over. I was there, and then they tied my legs down, and I think that's more so I wouldn't fall over, because that table is just so narrow. I fit on it fine, but if it's like you go either way, you're probably gonna fall off. So they tied my legs down, and that's pretty much all I remember. I don't remember them giving me anything. I don't remember breathing anything. I don't know what happened after that. The next thing that I remember was kind of yelling because I was in pain. I had like just a lot of pain in my stomach, and then I had this sharp pain here, which I knew was just gas. But when you wake up, all of a sudden you don't know where you are. My mom wasn't back there. It was just by myself, and I was just like so in a daze that I didn't even see anyone at first. And I don't think there was really anyone around. I think the nurses heard me yelling and they came over, because I think it's just like a big recovery area where everybody who comes out of surgery is at, and they just have like the curtains. So in my little area, I was by myself. She came over and then asked me if I was in pain. I just kept saying yes, I'm in a lot of pain. And then they kept giving me more like pain medicine in my IV. And then a few minutes later, I guess I was in and out. I'd be like, oh, I'd be like, oh, ow, ow, or whatever, complaining. And she gave me more, like maybe 4 or 5 times they gave me more. But I do remember her asking the anesthesiologist, I've already given her this much. Is it okay if I give her one more dose or whatever? And he was like, looked over my charts. He goes, she should be fine. And they gave me more. I don't remember going upstairs. I just remember, and it's so weird. I don't remember if they took me on a wheelchair. I don't remember if I was, and I have to ask my mom. I don't even know. The only time I remember seeing my mom was when I actually got to the room. Maybe they did wheelchair me up there. I don't know. It's like crazy to think that all that is just not there. But I remember pushing myself to get on the bed the bed that's in the actual room. So the nurse that I had that afternoon, she wasn't that nice. I mean, she tried to play nice, but it's like, even though she said one thing, she never really did it. So the pain medicine didn't come fast enough, it's like, at that moment, it's like, what have I done to myself? What have I done to my body? Why didn't I just try harder to lose the weight, the normal way? And it's just all these emotions and all these feelings. And I always almost wish that they would bring some kind of a counselor or someone to talk to you after that, because your mind is going through so much. It's like the medicine that they give you for pain, it doesn't help. Your mind is in a fog. I was probably over emotional because I was on my period, so that was another thing that added to it. My stomach, I feel weird. I don't feel like myself. I feel weak. I can't do anything for myself, and that's not the kind of person that I am. I do everything for myself. I do everything for my family. They depend on me a lot. So having other people take care of you, it's hard. I will tell you that about maybe an hour after I was in my room, I started walking. They brought me a walker, like the ones that the elderly people have. They brought me one of those. My mom had the IV. She walked behind me and pushed the little IV cart, not so it wouldn't mess here. And I was just walking. And at first, I only made it down the hall and then to my room, and that was it. That was it. I tried again maybe another hour later. And each time I went further and further. I started exploring different halls. And by the time the night lady came, the one that came in the evening, I think she came in at 8 or 9 o'clock. She was such a nice person. She was so nice. She was so attentive. She was quick to get things. So anytime that I was like, oh, I'm in pain or I'm nauseous or whatever, like within 20 minutes she was in my room with an IV and giving me a drip. Or she would come in and say, it's too soon to give you that. Why don't you try this? Or she was just really, really nice. So I'm so thankful to her for treating me so well over the night. So that was that. And then even through the night, because even though the medicine made me really, really drowsy that they gave me, it was like I slept for maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes at a time. I actually didn't get any sleep at the hospital at all. So when people say they don't get sleep, you really don't. So and even through the night, I made sure that I walked a lot. I got up several times. The lady even said, she's like, every time I, turn around, you're walking. That's good. That's good. I'm like, yeah. And everybody was surprised because I would pull myself out of bed. I would, like, no one needed to help me. My mom did help me a couple times after I had just gotten the medicine, because that medicine makes you so just foggy and just loopy, and I hated it. I hated the feeling. I hated that I didn't feel like myself. I think that medicine made me feel more uncomfortable than the pain actually was. My issue with the pain was more gas, and it wasn't gas in your shoulder like a lot of people say. Mine was in my stomach. I would get these intense cramps that they would make me weak to my knees, where I needed to sit down because I would faint. I felt like I was gonna faint, and really bad. And even when I came home and everything, they continued, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I have to tell you something about the IV while I'm thinking about it. That night, I sent my mom to go get dinner because I knew that the cafeteria there at the hospital would be closing and everything, and I told her just to stay down there. She didn't need to be eating in the room with me. Not that it was going to bother me. I just thought maybe she needed a break. So I asked her to sit down there, just go and, take it easy. So as soon as she left, I'm like crying, like maybe 20 minutes into it, because she left me. And then she's like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. Apparently this right here where the IV was like, I had like a big lump. I don't know if it was from all the walking that I took the IV out, but the IV wasn't, I guess the liquid wasn't actually going into my veins. It was going into under my skin. So I had to call a nurse. So I was freaking out because my mom wasn't there and I was by myself, and I probably made her feel terrible, even though I told her to go and just have a good dinner downstairs. And they ended up having to, they were going to go get a nurse from the ER and all this kind of stuff, because the thing with my veins, and I don't know, they say that I have very thin veins and they're very deep. So the lady that came, I swear she tried like 3 or 4 times before she finally got it. They tried it over here, and then he finally got one here somewhere, because I know she poked me more than once. That's why I have these. And I've been trying to get this off with alcohol, but no luck. So it comes off a little bit, but I don't know. So I don't know. It was getting bruised here. So it's somewhere around here. I had another IV. They finally got it in, and they got the drip going again. So after that, I was fine. So that was that night. I even made that video that night. Not that I remember doing it, because like I said, it was just, I was like out of my body. I don't know. The following day, when I actually woke up, I felt pretty good. I felt more normal. But then they came and wheelchaired me downstairs to do the swallow test to make sure I didn't have any leaks. And first thing they did was they put me on like a x-ray bed where you lay down, and they took an x-ray there. The guy was all surprised because I like just pushed myself up there, and basically just pushed myself up there, and he was like, wow, you're healing fast. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess because I was on so much pain medicine, I didn't feel anything. And then they took me to another room where they did the drip test. Now they told me, take a big gulp, take a big swallow, and I'm looking at them like, the first thing that my nurse said was, they're going to say that to you, don't listen to them. You take 2 or 3, tiny little sips, and then, let them try. So that's what I did. I took like 3 little sips. That stuff is disgusting. It's nasty, you guys. I'm surprised I didn't throw up while I was taking it. It was like drinking acid or something. I don't know. It just, think of like the nastiest thing you can taste, and times it times 10. It's gross. And I don't know, it was taking a long time to go down. The nurse, like, well, you're going to have to take a couple more sips. So I took a couple more sips, and then they had me dry swallow. They said I had some kind of air bubble, that it was taking a while to go down. It finally went down